It's already 9 a.m., so time to wake the fuck up, because North America's rising. And right now, right damn now, it's time to get your ass, ears and mind on this here little ride with me, Amy Suzanne. So let's go, and let's roll, people.
I'm not one of those cushy studio types, plopped on a velvet chair strutting like a peacock hollering, "Hey, look at me."
Yo, fam, what's good? Get comfy, cause I'm dropping a chic truth bomb to wake y'all up. Most in North America? Y'all weren't born when this mess kicked off in the late 1800s, creeping slow like fog till it choked out the sun. Leftist vibes slithered into schools, twisting minds and torching love for Canada and the US, generation by generation, till our foundations, society, culture, laws, beliefs, got nearly erased. We're diving into how Howard Zinn's A People's History of the US lit the fuse with its warped take, painting our nations as villains while skipping the good. That book was the OG spark, with textbooks from grade school to college stealing its playbook, pushing a narrative that's got kids hating their history. Scholars, educators, and loudmouths kept this left-leaning train rolling, straying from core values that made us strong, fulfilling Lenin's words, "Give us one generation." Chinese communist cash, flowing through Confucius institutes, poured gas on this, targeting our four olds, ideas, culture, customs, habits, to gut Canada and the US from within, no bullets needed. This slow sabotage duped our people, fractured families, and hollowed out economies and values, leaving both nations teetering on self-destruction's edge. Few grasp how this poison sunk deep, eroding our bedrock. But y'all gotta hear this. What I'm laying down is the root of why we're on this precipice. One push from chaos. Stick with me. This is the wake-up call to save our nation's soul. But yo, these studio lights and gear are cooking me. So first, I gotta peel off some layers so I'm more comfy in order to say it all right and better for you before we dive in. So now, this here real biological and domestically extremist conservative girl's gonna do that? Then let's all roll into the rest of this show.
It's over there, Amy,
hurry.
by the damn
Help me
rack.
get out of this
Yo,
damn
girl, I'm
thick-ass
trying.
hot
Chill the
white
fuck
outfit.
out. I'm unhooking
burning
these
up in
clasps.
it.
Hold
Can't
on.
someone dial
These
down
straps
the air
ain't
more?
breaking. Relax, girl.
Shorty,
Your tits
where
ain't
the
popping
hell's
out.
that
Calm
sexy black and
down.
gold
I'm
boost
moving.
TA
Let me do
of
my
mine?
damn thing.
No,
You
girl,
got it,
stop
girl.
that.
It's
You don't
looking
do it
good.
like that.
Here's your
You
whiskey
gotta
glass
unhook the
right
clasps,
here.
not like
I didn't
that.
touch that
Stop.
bullshit
You're gonna
script,
break the
Amy.
straps,
I'll
and we don't
remind you
need
to
to have my
fire their
damn tits
sorry
falling
ass.
and hanging
That
out on camera.
rent-a-cop's useless.
Move.
I got the
Honey,
script. You look
just let me
fire,
do
sweating
it,
or
or you're
not,
gonna be
girl.
having my
This
damn
crew's gotta
stuff
step
popping
up,
out.
damn it.
And
Amy, you're killing
that's all
it.
we
Let's
need to do
move.
now is to have
Natcha,
my
move
damn
your
titties
ass. We're
fall out on
rolling.
camera
I'm
right
telling
in
him
front
to
of
cut
some
that
damn
clip now.
YouTube
Door girl,
overlord.
get the fuck
See?
out of the
You
way.
gotta
That
do it like by
bodyguard,
hooking
Amy's
here,
right
just
bitch,
like
always
this.
in the way.
Stop,
Oh my
Shorty.
god, which
Just
one of
let
y'all
me do
left the
it.
mic hot?
Don't
Look,
worry,
they got the
girl,
tally
I
lights
got it.
on. Get out there,
Voila.
girl. It's
See?
over there,
Hand me
Amy,
that
by the
whiskey.
damn rack.
No,
Yo, girl,
not the
I'm
whole
trying.
damn
Chill the
bottle.
fuck out.
The
I'm
drink I
unhooking
left
these
there to
clasps.
your right
Hold
in the
on.
glass.
These straps
Now,
ain't
where the
breaking.
fuck's that damn
Relax,
script
girl.
I wrote?
Your tits ain't
Thanks.
popping out.
Oh
Calm
my God.
down.
This
I'm
isn't what I
moving.
wrote.
Let me do my
Who the
damn
hell wrote
thing.
all
You
this
got it,
bullshit
girl.
into
It's
my
looking
script?
good. Here's
That's
your
not what
whiskey
the fuck
glass
I
right
wrote.
here. I
Shorty,
didn't touch that
remind me to
bullshit
fire
script,
their
Amy.
ass.
I'll
Hey,
remind you to
you
fire their
rent-a-cop? Hand
sorry
me that
ass.
script there on
That
the rack.
rent-a-cop's useless.
Thanks.
I got
Can't
the
anyone
script.
here but
You look
Shorty do a
fire,
damn
sweating or
thing,
not,
right?
girl.
All
This
anyone
crew's
had
gotta
to do
step
was
up,
not
damn
mess
it.
with and
Amy,
just
you're
give me my
killing it.
damn
Let's
script.
move.
Hell
Natcha,
with this
move your
crap.
ass. We're
Y'all gotta
rolling.
get on the ball
I'm
back
telling
here,
him
or
to
we're all
cut
gonna
that clip
crash and
now.
burn.
Door girl, get the
Girlfriend,
fuck out
how
of the
I
way.
look.
That
I'm sweating my
bodyguard
little
ain't his
ass
right
off to
bitch.
burn now.
Always in the way.
Hell with it.
Oh my god,
I'm
which one
doing
of
it
y'all
like
left the mic
just
hot?
wearing this,
Look, they
my
got the
tits
tally
hanging out
lights
or
on.
not.
Get out
We
there,
don't
girl.
got the
It's
time,
over
girl.
there,
I'm just
Amy,
gonna
by
go
the
on
damn
like
rack.
this.
Yo,
Fuck
girl,
it.
I'm trying.
Hey you,
Chill the fuck
Nacha,
out. I'm
whatever the
unhooking
fuck
these
your name
clasps.
is,
Hold
move
on.
it.
These straps
Shorty,
ain't
she's
breaking.
right.
Relax,
You act like
girl.
that damn
Your
burner
tits
you
ain't
got
popping
strapped
out.
under your
Calm
tit and
down.
tin
I'm
badge you got
moving.
hanging
Let me
there
do my damn
lets you just
thing.
stand her
You got it,
fat ass
girl.
right in the
It's looking
damn
good.
fucking doorway.
Here's your whiskey glass
Move.
right
Get the
here.
fuck out
I
the
didn't
way.
touch that bullshit
Shorty,
script,
just
Amy.
tell him to
I'll
cut in that
remind you to
sexy
fire
shot
their
clip Angie
sorry
did,
ass.
me walking,
That
and signal I'm coming out and let's do this. I'm coming out. You, open that damn door, girl. Let's roll this. Oh my fucking god, who the hell left the mic hot? Bonjour, good morning, mon ami, and welcome to a journey that'll seize your soul. I'm Amy Suzanne, WDBG's CEO and your show host, as well as your personal guide du jour on North America's rising. And mon Dieu, today we're diving deep into the shadows of history to unearth the raw, unfiltered truth behind why Canada and the United States are in such a tangled mess. Since the late 1800s, leftist ideologies have steadily infiltrated North American schools, eroding love and respect for Canada and the United States among students, with each generation compounding this disdain through education systems that perpetuate and amplify anti-national sentiment. This process began with early socialist and Marxist influences in academic circles, which criticized capitalism and national pride as tools of oppression, gradually reshaping curricula to emphasize systemic flaws over patriotic values. By the mid-20th century, these ideas gained traction through influential figures like Howard Zinn, whose textbook, A People's History of the United States, presented a skewed, lopsided narrative focusing on America's failures, slavery, colonialism, and inequality, while downplaying its achievements and ideals. Zinn's work, widely adopted in schools, framed North America as inherently unjust, fostering guilt and distrust among students toward their nation's histories and institutions. Over decades, this narrative has been reinforced by educators trained in these ideologies, creating a self-perpetuating cycle where each generation teaches the next to view Canada and the United States with increasing contempt, undermining cultural cohesion and national identity. Simultaneously, Chinese communist influences have exacerbated this trend, covertly funding North American academic institutions through programs like Confucius Institutes and Islamic cultural.orgs, which subtly promote anti-Western sentiment and align with the Marxist goal of dismantling the four olds, old ideas, culture, customs, and habits, as well as other Islamic rooted in old Muslim Brotherhood ideology, but whom and which professed and alleged to be only harmless cultural groups, have for decades all acted throughout North America to weaken both nations internally. This strategic infiltration avoids direct confrontation, allowing foreign powers to erode North America's social fabric, economy, and family structures without firing a shot. Generations of students, shaped by these curricula, have been duped, coerced, and brainwashed into accepting these ideas, often unaware of the broader agenda. The result is a fractured society where citizens, lulled by decades of ideological conditioning, have unwittingly allowed their nation's values, economies, and cultural heritage to erode, leaving Canada and the United States vulnerable to internal collapse. This awakening demands a reckoning with the education system's role in perpetuating division and a call to reclaim the pride and unity that once defined these nations. And that's why fixing North America's educators, teachers, their teachers' unions, and entire educational systems should be first on the agenda of everyone. Yup, you all heard me right. Over decades, even while some of us lived through it, nobody's hardly or really noticed that all that's taken place, because it's happened in gradual little increments, and this narrative and agenda I've just described has been reinforced by educators trained in these ideologies, creating a self-perpetuating cycle where each generation teaches the next to view Canada and the United States with increasing contempt, undermining cultural cohesion and national identity. Simultaneously, Chinese communist influences have exacerbated this trend, covertly funding North American academic institutions through programs like Confucius Institutes and Islamic cultural organizations, which subtly promote anti-Western sentiment and align with the Marxist goal of dismantling the four olds: old ideas, culture, customs, and habits, as well as other Islamic-rooted groups tied to old Muslim Brotherhood ideology. These groups, often professing to be harmless cultural organizations, have for decades acted throughout North America to weaken both nations internally. This strategic infiltration avoids direct confrontation, allowing foreign powers to erode North America's social fabric, economy, and family structures without firing a shot. Generations of students, shaped by these curricula, have been duped, coerced, and brainwashed into accepting these ideas, often unaware of the broader agenda. The result is a fractured society where citizens, lulled by decades of ideological conditioning, have unwittingly allowed their nation's values, economies, and cultural heritage to erode, leaving Canada and the United States vulnerable to internal collapse. This awakening demands a reckoning with the education system's role in perpetuating division and a call to reclaim the pride and unity that once defined these nations. And that's why fixing North America's educators, teachers, their teachers' unions, and entire educational systems should be first on the agenda of everyone. Now, let me pass the microphone to my new co-host, Kay Marie, to share her thoughts. Take it away,
Hi,
Shorty.
y'all. I'm Kay Marie, but like Amy, it's okay if some of y'all want to call me Shorty. Amy just put me on the spot with the spotlight on me, and I guess she feels I need a bit of practice for my role as her new co-host. Thank you, Amy, for giving me this moment to shine. Since this is my first on-camera appearance on this show, all I want to say is, wow, Amy, that was the real deal. Sorry for jumping into your educational talk there, but after all, aren't I supposed to be the co-host of this show? I'm so grateful to be here, but y'all, please bear with me and give this girl a break. I'm not used to speaking on camera like my girl Amy is. Now that everyone's seen who I am and heard what I sound like, I'm ready to pass the microphone back to Amy. As we rehearsed, Amy, you can take us back in time and break it all down, decade by decade, explaining exactly what happened, how it happened, and why. So here's the microphone back. Go ahead, guys. Switch the camera and mic to her. Thanks, Amy, and thank y'all out there for having me on.
So now buckle up and brace yourself for a wild ride back through time, peeling back the layers to expose the root causes of our modern chaos. Millennials, Gen X, Gen Z, and yeah, even you, wise boomers, ya all need to really listen up, as this tale and journey back through time is especially for ya all, as only a few born in the last 6 decades know the real history, the hidden dynamics that have knotted and rotted our nations. So, open your hearts and minds, and let's dive into and discover the real truth we're about to bear ensemble. You'll walk away seeing the world clearer, and hopefully roaring to fix what's gotten broken. Merci for being here. Your presence fuels this adventure. Hit that subscribe button, ring my bell, mon chéris, and let's dive headfirst into the truth. So now, without further ado, let's roll into the heart of this here educational and totally awakening little journey we gonna ride through together this morning on North America's Rising. Hey, North America's Rising crew, it's Amy Suzanne, coming at you live with that vrai true Detroit grit and a splash of joie de vivre, joy of life. Buckle up, cause we're diving into how our schools went from flying the flag high to flirting with Marxist manifestos. How do we get here? Who dropped the ball? Let's unpack this Marty shit show mess of a situation. Back in the late 1800s, schools in the US and Canada were all about patriotism. Patriotism. Kids saluted the flag, learned why their country was the cat's pajamas, and soaked up respect for leaders. Horace Mann in the States pushed schools to churn out good citizens, while Canada preached peace, order, and good government. But then, boom, the progressive era hits in the 1890s, and John Dewey starts preaching a new gospel. Schools ain't just for memorizing facts, they're for teaching kids to think. Sounds cool, right? But it's the first crack in the armor. Suddenly, it's less about God bless America and more about questioning the system. Pas mal, not bad, but it's a slippery slope, folks. By the 1920s, things get spicy. The Great Depression's got folks broke and angry, looking for answers. George Counts at Columbia's Teachers College drops a bomb with his 1932 pamphlet, Dare the School Build a New Social Order? He's telling teachers to be revolutionaries, to fix society's mess. Not commie level, but close enough to make conservatives clutch their pearls. In New York, AFT Local No. 5 starts pushing communist vibes in places like Harlem. Canada's quieter, but socialist ideas creep in through labor folks in Toronto and Montreal. Patriotism's taken a back seat as teachers question the rosy history we've been fed. Hey, let's roll into the Cold War, 40s and 50s, where the paranoia's thicker than molasses. McCarthy's hunting commies in every classroom, scaring teachers straight. Truth is, most educators ain't reading Marx by candlelight, but the fear's real. Kids are taught to duck and cover, but also to think hard about their country's flaws. Historians like James Adams poke holes in the America's perfect story. In Canada, the space race pushes science over flag-waving. By the 60s, Sacrament, holy cow, the new left's born, and it's a game changer. Students, fired up by civil rights and anti-war protests, are pushing back. Herbert Marcuse, this neo-Marxist guru, tells kids to question everything. Government, capitalism, the whole deal. Campuses turn into battlegrounds. Students for a democratic society in the States and similar crews in Canada demand change. They want schools to teach about inequality, not just Betsy Ross and McDonald. Teachers, fresh out of radicalized universities, bring that fire to high schools. It's not about saluting leaders anymore. It's about calling them out. Some of that's needed, but they forgot how to balance it with pride in what's good about our countries. The vibe's shifting, and patriotism's getting sidelined for critique. That's when folks start whispering about schools going left, and mon Dieu, they ain't wrong. All right, let's hit the 70s and 80s, when the lefty stuff sets up shop in schools for real. Multicultural education, bilingual classes, women's studies, all popping up to give voice to folks who've been ignored. Noble? Sure. But the pendulum swings hard. In the U.S., laws like the 1975 Education for All Handicapped Children Act push inclusivity, tied to a broader shift towards social justice over tradition. Canada's doing similar stuff, especially with Indigenous voices, questioning the colonial story. Teachers' unions, like the NEA and AFT, all pushing progressive reforms. Universities churn out teachers steeped in Marxist-flavored theories, mixing feminism, race, and class into a new classroom gospel. By the 80s, scholars like Jay Weiner at UCLA pushing Marx and dope. It's not just about economics. It's about culture, power, who's got it, who don't. This stuff trickles to K-12, where teachers lean into critical lenses over flag-waving. Parents start noticing, and they ain't happy. The train's left the station, mes amis, my friends, and it's heading left fast. Schools ain't just teaching kids to think, they're teaching them to rethink everything, sometimes tossing out the baby with the bathwater. Now let's cruise into the 90s and 2000s, where this lefty vibe solidifies like cement. Critical race theory, gender studies, all that jazz starts shaping curricula, especially in urban schools. Ibram X, Kendi's pushing anti-racist education, saying we gotta face systemic flaws head on. Fair point, but conservatives are screaming indoctrination. In Canada, multiculturalism's king, and Indigenous reconciliation's rewriting history books. Ain't nobody saluting the Queen, They're debating her legacy. By 2014, the AP US history frameworks got folks like Larry Krieger losing it, saying it's too negative about America. Fast forward to 2024, and Congress is passing the Communism in Teaching Act to keep Marxist vibes in check. Say foo, it's crazy, right? But this ain't just about curriculum. It's a whole vibe shift. Schools went from teaching kids to love their country to teaching them to question it. Sometimes that's good. Blind patriotism's a trap. But when you lean so hard into critique that kids don't know what's worth celebrating, you've lost something. That's where we're at, folks, and it's got North America divided, from school boards to dinner tables. So, how'd we end up in this mess? Let's break it down. Decor, okay? First, you've got intellectual heavyweights like John Dewey and George Counts, setting the stage for schools to be social change machines. The Great Depression and Civil Rights era made folks hungry for justice, and schools became the battlefield. Universities pumped out Marxist-Lenin teachers, and the 60s counterculture, feminism, all that. It pushed educators to ditch the old rah-rah for something more critical. Global vibes, like the Soviet Union's education model, made revolution sound sexy, even if most teachers weren't reading Das Kapital. Mistakes? Oh, we made 'em. Schools got so caught up in critical thinking they forgot to teach kids what's worth loving about their country. Balance got tossed out the window. Nobody checked the universities when they started churning out radicalized teachers. Parents got left in the dust, feeling like their kids were being fed a narrative they didn't sign up for. That's a fumble, big time, and it's why folks are so heated now. Who's to blame for this leftward slide? Ain't no single villain, but let's point some fingers. Dewey and Counts kicked it off, planting seeds for change that grew wilder than they planned. Herbert Marcuse and the New Left turned campuses into radical hubs, and folks like Ibram X. Kendi kept the fire burning with anti-racist education. Teachers' unions like the NEA, QP, and AFT pushed hard for progressive reforms, sometimes leaning too far left. But the real root? And the end result of all this nation-destroying bullshit, mon ami? It's a sinister, slow-motion unraveling of trust in our North American institutions, government, church, the whole damn backbone of our society. This isn't some accident, no random fumble. It's a calculated playbook, ripped straight from Mao's Little Red Book, designed to torch the four olds, customs, culture, habits, and ideas, while gutting the rights, choices, and freedoms of our capitalist West. Don't kid yourself, Mayshares, my dears. Communist China's fingerprints are all over this, orchestrating a silent invasion to make generations of Americans and Canadians lose faith in the system that built their nations. How? By slithering into our schools, turning educators into unwitting pawns. Once, teachers championed the values that forged America and Canada: liberty, individuality, pride in our shared history. Now, too many are dismantling those foundations, slicing up our heritage like a dissection lab frog, often forgetting to stitch it back together. This isn't just teaching history, it's pushing a worldview, a near-religious zeal to fix society by torching what's deemed broken. But here's the kicker: they rarely rebuild. They leave our kids with questions, doubts, and zero pride in the principles that made North America a beacon of freedom. The impact? It's a cultural earthquake, splitting us apart. Schools tilting hard left have polarized us to the breaking point, mon ami. Conservatives scream indoctrination. Progressives shrug, calling it facing facts. Both sides dig in, and the divide deepens, leaving our nations fractured, our trust eroded, and our future on shaky ground. Mayshares, my dears, this is no accident. It's a war on our values, and we're losing ground fast. And the end result of all this nation-destroying bullshit, mon amis? Schools are caught in the crossfire, trying to teach inclusivity while dodging accusations of being anti-American or anti-Canadian. Patriotism's taken a hit. Kids know more about their country's sins than its wins. That cultural Marxism vibe? It's got folks feeling like schools are pushing division over unity. The push for inclusivity's enriched education, no doubt, but when you sideline tradition, you alienate half the population. Parents are mad, feeling like their values got steamrolled. And kids? They're caught in the middle, learning to critique before they learn what's worth fighting for. That's the real cost of this shift, and it's why we're all yelling at each other instead of building something together. So what's the deal with how this happened? It's a century of choices, some good, some sloppy. Progressive educators wanted justice, but they didn't balance it with pride. Universities got too cozy with radical ideas, and nobody pumped the brakes. Parents got sidelined, and now they're fighting back. It started with Dewey's push for critical thinking, got wild in the 60s with student protests, and cemented in the 90s with critical theories like CRT. Each step made sense at the time, fixing inequality, giving voice to the voiceless, but it tipped too far. Schools forgot to teach kids why their country's worth loving, focusing instead on what's broken. That's not education, it's a mission, discord, okay? And when education turns into a crusade, you lose the plot. We're here 'cause we let the pendulum swing too far left without checking it. All right, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. This shift ain't just about schools. It's about how we see ourselves as nations. The move from pride to critique has left us fractured. In the US, folks are duking it out over history curricula, with some saying it's too negative, others saying it's just truth. Canada's wrestling with the same, especially around Indigenous history and multiculturalism. Both sides got a point, but neither's got the whole truth. The mistake was thinking we could teach kids to question everything without giving them something to stand for. That's where the left's quasi-religious vibe comes in. Marxism, CRT, it's less about facts and more about a lens, a way of seeing the world as broken and in need of fixing. But if you only tear down, what's left? That's the question we're grappling with now, discord, okay? So, where do we go from here? We can't go back to blind flag waving. That's a trap too. But we need balance, s'il vous plaît, please. Teach the good, the bad, the ugly. But don't forget the good. Kids deserve to know why their country's worth fighting for, not just what it's done wrong. Teachers gotta step up, parents gotta speak up, and schools gotta listen. We can't let this divide fester, or we're handing the reins to extremists on both sides. The left's push for justice is real, but it's gotta meet pride halfway. Otherwise, we're just yelling past each other, and our kids are the ones paying the price. Let's rebuild a system that teaches critical thinking and love for what's ours, so we can move forward together. Let's wrap this up. Let's get North America's rising. This journey from flag-saluting schools to Marxist-leaning classrooms didn't happen overnight. It's a century of shifts. Progressive ideas, social upheavals, universities gone wild, and trust in institutions tanking. We fumbled by leaning too hard into critique without balancing it with pride. Dewey, Counts, Marcuse, Kendi, they all played a part, pushing schools to be change makers. But when you only focus on what's broken, you forget what's worth saving. That's why we're polarized, why parents are mad, why kids are confused. It's on us to fix this marred mess. Yup, North America, my fam across the USA and Canada, we've got a fire to put out. Our schools, once the bedrock of nation building, now question the very foundations they were meant to uphold. And let's not kid ourselves. Commie cash and ideology, seeping into our classrooms like a slow poison, have carved a nation-wrecking path, tearing at the principles that forged our proud nations. This isn't just a hiccup. It's a cultural, societal, family-shattering tangle that keeps feeding itself, unraveling the pride, freedom, and unity America and Canada were built on. The left's push for justice and equality? Those aren't the villains. Hell, they're noble in intent. But they can't stand alone, stripping away our love for our history, our founding principles, and the nations we've sweat and bled to build. We need educators who ignite young minds to think critically and love their country, not just deconstruct it into dust. Parents, This is your wake-up call. Your voice is a thunderclap. Schools, hear us loud and clear. We're done scrapping over crumbs. It's time to rebuild something fierce, something true. Let's strike that balance, mes amis, my friends, and show the next generation what North America's heart is made of: grit, pride, and unyielding spirit. So keep your eyes locked on this fight, fam. Hit that subscribe button, stay in the game, and let's take back our story. Keep it real, keep it proud. Amy Suzanne, signing off. Now before this girl ghosts for the morn, let's shine a light on our friends over in France and in the D. All right, fam, before I bounce and take you to vibe with some friends in France and the Motor City, let's wrap this up with a tight, no-frills summary of the truth bombs I've dropped on today's show. This one's for all you in Canada and the US still holding on to a sharp, unclouded mind, free from the grip of leftist and commie fog. Here's the real deal, boiled down to the core. Since the late 1800s, leftist ideologies have steadily infiltrated North American schools, eroding love and respect for Canada and the United States among students, with each generation compounding this disdain through education systems that perpetuate and amplify anti-national sentiment. This process began with early socialist and Marxist influences in academic circles, which criticized capitalism and national pride as tools of oppression, gradually reshaping curricula to emphasize systemic flaws over patriotic values. By the mid-20th century, these ideas gained traction through influential figures like Howard Zinn, whose textbook, A People's History of the United States, presented a skewed, lopsided narrative focusing on America's failures, slavery, colonialism, and inequality, while downplaying its achievements and ideals. Zinn's work, widely adopted in schools, framed North America as inherently unjust, fostering guilt and distrust among students toward their nation's histories and institutions. Over decades, this narrative has been reinforced by educators trained in these ideologies, creating a self-perpetuating cycle where each generation teaches the next to view Canada and the United States with increasing contempt, undermining cultural cohesion and national identity. Simultaneously, Chinese communist influences have exacerbated this trend, covertly funding North American academic institutions through programs like Confucius Institutes and Islamic cultural.orgs, which subtly promote anti-Western sentiment and align with the Marxist goal of dismantling the four olds: old ideas, culture, customs, and habits, as well as other Islamic rooted in old Muslim Brotherhood ideology, but whom and which professed and alleged to be only harmless cultural groups have for decades all acted throughout North America to weaken both nations internally. This strategic infiltration avoids direct confrontation, allowing foreign powers to erode North America's social fabric, economy, and family structures without firing a shot. Generations of students, shaped by these curricula, have been duped, coerced, and brainwashed into accepting these ideas, often unaware of the broader agenda. The result is a fractured society where citizens, lulled by decades of ideological conditioning, have unwittingly allowed their nation's values, economies, and cultural heritage to erode, leaving Canada and the United States vulnerable to internal collapse. This awakening demands a reckoning with the education system's role in perpetuating division and a call to reclaim the pride and unity that once defined these nations. And that's why fixing North America's educators, teachers, their teachers' unions, and entire educational systems should be first on the agenda of everyone. Well, that's the wrap-up, short and sweet, laid on you all by this here girl Amy, who's now gonna take y'all over to our friends in France and the Motor City, the 313 Big D, before this here girl ghosts. Till next show. We keepin' the vibe high with your girl, Amy Suzanne, reppin' that real Detroit energy. Now, let's take a quick detour to big up our dope advertiser, Maison Close. Yo, this ain't just any brand. This is that sexy, high-class French female attire coming straight out of France, hitting y'all with that ooh-la-la fire. Maison Close is all about celebrating the real biological queens, making every curve, every look, every asset pop off like nobody else can. We talkin' all types of dresses that flow and slay, bodysuits that snatch and hug right, tops that got you looking sharp, swimsuits that make waves, and of course, the finest in French lingerie that's straight up luxurious. Every piece is designed to amplify what you bring into the table, your natural beauty, your fire curves, all that makes you you. Whether you're stepping out for a night in the city or keeping it spicy at home, Maison Close got that premium, elegant drip that screams power and sophistication. Slip into their gear, and you ain't just wearing clothes, you're owning the whole scene. So, my real ones, if you trying to elevate your style and feel like a straight-up goddess, Maison Close is the move. Cop some and watch how you shine. Aight fam, your girl's gotta bounce for now, I'm ghostin', but in the true language of the D, à la prochaine, till next time. Make sure y'all subscribe and smash that notification bell so you don't miss what's dropping on my next show. We out.
Hold your breath and count to 3.
Well now, mes chéries, both the ladies and the gents in our audience who might want to splash a bit of that hard-earned cash to treat their favorite gal have just feasted their eyes on all that French female attire gear. Ooh la la. But hold tight. This girl's not diving into Charlie's antics just yet. Instead, I'm Amy, your ex-topless dancer turned media mogul with a law degree in my back pocket, and I've got a sizzling little promo for our pals at American Coney Island, a Detroit legend that's calling your name. For you Windsor folks, it's practically next door, just a few minutes by car, bus, or taxi, or hop on a Via Rail ride from Toronto or Ottawa. It's cheap, scenic, and makes for a perfect day trip. Why bother? Because American Coney Island's got that iconic Detroit Coney dog you can't find in Canada. Snappy, smothered in chili, mustard, and onions since 1917. One bite, and your taste buds will be begging for more. But it's not just the food, darling. Detroit's buzzing with excitement. Catch a movie, cheer on the Tigers or Red Wings, or test your luck at the casino. It's all right there, turning a quick visit into a full-on adventure. Usually, I'd let Charlie or Red spin you a promo, but this morning, I'm shaking things up. I'm passing the mic to Grace, the heart and soul of American Coney Island, to dish out all the juicy details. So stick around. Here's Grace.
Hey, I'm Grace here at American Coney Island, downtown Detroit. Come and visit us. We're open 10 to 10 Monday through Thursday, Friday and Saturday 11 to midnight, Sunday 12 to 5. Or you can order a Coney Kit at AmericanConeyIsland.com. Downtown's kind of slow right now. Come on down and support.
Aight fam, we keeping it moving right here with your girl, Amy Suzanne, still holding it down with that real Detroit energy. Now before we drop this straight-up classic clip from my dude, Charlie LaDuff, let me school y'all on who this cat is and why he's spittin' truth like no other. Charlie LaDuff ain't your average newsroom suit. Nah, he's a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter reppin' the D, born and bred in the heart of the hustle. His mama was out here slangin' flowers, and his family tree, full of real ones, lighthouse keepers, grinders, and folks who know what it means to put in work. Charlie's been deep in the game, not just talking about the struggle, but living it. Riding with migrants, crossing borders, clocking hours at slaughterhouses, even fixing pipes at American Coney Island. Yeah, that's the kind of dude he is, getting his hands dirty to tell the stories that hit home. Now, let's get into what Charlie says a reporter ought to be. Forget them fancy journalist types who just type and don't look up. Charlie calls himself a reporter for a reason. To him, it ain't about chasing clicks or cozying up to big shots. It's about amplifying the voices of the underdogs, the working folks, the hustlers, the ones holding it down when the world's trying to break 'em. He keeps it 100, whether he's exposing crooked politicians or showing love to the everyday grinders. In his book, Work and Other Sins, he paints it raw. Firefighters, barflies, dreamers, all without the sugarcoat. And them viral clips, like that par 3-168 golf joint through Detroit's ruins, that's him showing the world what's really good, no cap. Charlie's proven reportin' ain't just facts, it's heart, it's soul, it's keeping it real for those who ain't got a mic. So fam, get ready, 'cause we about to hit y'all with Charlie's Ode to the Workin' Man clip. This one's for all y'all out there grindin', holding it together, and keeping it solid. Let's roll.
Everybody's got a history. Most everybody comes from nowhere. In every family, there's a cousin no one wants to admit to. We make stories about such people. Detroiters almost exclusively. Working people, most definitely. The dandies and the swells and the connected people we know say we make stories about losers and less thans. But they're wrong. We make stories about people. Our people. People who live in crowded apartments and ranch houses. People who shovel their own snow. And people who shovel other people's bullshit. People with fat aunties who wear stretch pants with stains on the ass. We don't do stories about people who pay doormen to open their door. We do stories about the doormen. We make stories about the laborer, the dreamer, the hustler, and the immigrant, whether he's a writer from Michigan or a waiter from Michoacan. When the cocktail set tells us they enjoy our cast of losers, we never mind them. We just smile and drink their liquor because they don't know what work is.
You know what I hear a lot? Charlie LaDove newsman, I thought you were dead. I'm not dead. I'm doing the news, the real news, right here, the No BS News Hour. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Facebook, Odyssey, or download it wherever you get your podcasts. Power the people.
No, you may not drive a great big Cadillac. Against the white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean, gangster white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo. Diamond in the back, sun rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, gangsta white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Diamond in the back, sun rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-woo. Diamond in the back, sun rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo. Diamond in the back, sun rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo. Diamond in the back, sun rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo. Diamond in the back, sun rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo. Diamond in the back, sun rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Diamond in the back, sun rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean.